So here we are at the home site, and it's still mostly native state. We are going to start clearing the land today. Brought in a bulldozer. Even when you're doing things on a budget, these are the guys you want to hire. They're really fast, they're really good at what they do, and you just can't rent the equipment and do it yourself in the near as good a fashion. This is pretty raw land. It's 26 acres total. We're really kind of living and operating on about a third of that. The other two-thirds is very steep, but it'll be great for hiking trails. There are some beautiful rock formations and a lot of great pine stands. And those geographical features were a lot of the reason we bought this property. Here I've actually put some ribbon around an area that I want to be sort of an island in the center of a circle drive, a circle gravel driveway. The X's there on the trees, or those trees are coming down to make room for the driveway from the road. The driveway is about the house site, I should say, is about 300 feet off of the road itself. The driveway kind of winds through a little bit, so you can't see the finished house from the road, really tucked into the woods here. This is very hilly ground, so a lot of we found the flattest spot that made the most sense for us, but still had to do some regrading with the bulldozer as we were taking trees out and finding level. Um, but this part of it went pretty quickly. Not a lot of old trees, a lot of fairly young growth. And the larger trees that were there, we avoided. We kind of wound through them just so that we could take down as few of those as possible. We have quite a bit of road frontage here too, so we actually have two other driveways we've already cut in on the either side of the property. This one is really kind of in the middle of the road frontage that we have on this piece of property. The other two driveways, one leads to a camper that we use when we're on site, and the other one leads to the sawmill that we're going to use in order to uh, build the house coming up. Certainly use a lot of the local wood from this property to build the house where it makes the most sense. Have to buy some things, of course, but that the goal is to use as much as we can. It's going to be a modified timber frame. There you can see the road as it is, and like I said, we're right in about the middle of it, middle of our piece of property. That truck that you see up there, that's about the other edge. And I think I said this is about 26 acres. It's it was all wooded. Literally, there was probably a half an acre of cleared land, maybe an acre. There's two different small patches, but other than that, it was just raw woods, which was really attractive for us. We wanted to start with something fresh. We wanted to, come to this like new piece of property here in eastern Kentucky, and just build a place that we're going to live out the rest of our lives. You can see the ridge in the background there. Now most of the bulldozer work is done on the driveway, just in terms of cutting through, and we're kind of walking down through it. You can see the bulldozer just leaves those really intense tracks in the Kentucky clay here. It's really, really slippery and wet when it rains, but if the sun comes out for a day or two, it dries right up. Um, Now we're coming through a couple of trees that we wanted to keep. So we've got about, I don't know, 15 or 20 feet between those as we come through. And now we're starting to see the shape of the circle drive that we were kind of hoping for. And you can still see sort of traces of those ribbons around that little stand of trees that's going to be an island within the circle drive. The house is going to be beyond that, so towards that ridge a little bit. Um, Now, of course, we're probably 3 or 4 days later. We've run down the clay pretty hard, and obviously laid some cloth, laid some gravel, and wanted to yeah, just keep the gravel, on top of the clay as long as possible. The clay in this area will just eat this gravel right up. So you really do need something as a good solid base. Here in Kentucky, these are considered threes and fours for this base layer. We'll throw some 57s on top of that, and then ultimately some dense pack. Um, Now, a day or two even later, we have really worked on the driveway. I threw a log in here just so people weren't too nosy in the area. Although this is a fantastic area, it's a dead end farm road. There's eight or so families on the road, and we've only been down here for about a year now, but we've already met everybody on the ridge here, and it's just a fantastic community of people. We really enjoy being here. We know we've made the right decision coming here. Um, so now you can start to see it. It's winter or fall, I guess here, late fall, and we've lost the leaves on the trees, but it's still pretty thick. But you can start to see how, as we come down the road, the house is really tucked in. We're fortunate to live in an area where there are some local quarries, and the gravel's actually pretty cheap. So this is a great solution for the driveway around here. We can add to it and take care of it as the years go by, and not really incur much expense from it. So now you start to see, yeah, even more the circle driveway is starting to take shape. And then on the other side of that far lane of gravel, that's where the house is going to be. And I am hoping that we'll be able to keep this stand of trees in the center of this circle drive, for reasons which we'll get into in another video. But right here, we were actually originally going to bring the driveway through here, but it was a little too straight of a shot, and it actually ends up being a really nice hill to plant trees on just for some additional privacy. And then the other nice thing is right on the left of us now, that gully. That's a pretty deep gully that comes from all the rain and runoff. And so this entire driveway area all funnels right toward that gully. So like really any rain or water runoff from the top of the hill goes straight to that gully and bypasses the house completely. Um, Now you can see like where most of the trees have been like neatly stacked up, and now we have the very beginnings of the house site. This is one of the most exciting parts for us, because this was really when it became very real in terms of like where the house was going to be. We currently have electric a little bit of ways, but we're going to end up burying it and bringing it from the road along with the water. We do have electric service. We have uh, county water, so we get fresh water from the county. And we also have fiber optic cable because, in eastern Kentucky, they had some grants from the government during, I guess, the pandemic to get broad speed and fiber optic cable in certain counties, and Morgan County was one of them. So if you have an address in Morgan County, you're guaranteed fiber optic cable. Was one of the reasons we were able to move here and work remotely while we were getting this started. These are some fantastic stones that are coming out as a part of the excavation and the grading, and there's a lot more of them. As you'll see later, we're definitely going to use these for landscaping and just landscape features. Um, did a great job though. The guys that did the bulldozing were just fantastic. Um, they had a they had a lot of work to do, and they did it in a really really good amount of time. Had some rebar there delivered in preparation for getting the footers dug and getting those poured, which will be coming up in another video as well. Here's a couple of shots before the gravel came down. Um, yeah, the island and the circle drive would be nice. We're not currently planning on a garage, so we'll probably just have outdoor parking for now, but that'll probably change in the future at some point. I will be posting other videos about the sawmill and obviously everything that goes on with the house. The foundation will be next. That's obviously a big project. We have a lot to talk about that, and all the other things. Thanks a lot.